Welcome to Ursi's Unique Eats. I'm Ursula, also known as Ursi, and this is my kitchen. Today, I am whipping up my favorite of all breakfast treats. It's called breakfast pie. Now I know what you're thinking. Pie for breakfast? Great idea. This isn't your traditional sweet pie though. This is kind of like my take on a quiche. So a quiche is a traditional egg and cheese and random vegetables that you throw together in a pie dish. My breakfast pie is just a little bit different because it has a top crust made of bacon. Has everything you'd want in breakfast. Eggs, cheese, broccoli, bacon, and a delicious crispy crust. If you want to try to make breakfast pie at home, come check out the ingredients you'll need. The ingredients you'll need to make your very own breakfast pie at home are as follows. 1 9-inch refrigerated pie crust. You can totally make your own pie crust if that's what you like to do. Most of the time, I also like to make my own pie crust, but I'm feeling in a simple mood today. So refrigerated pie crust it is. Salt and pepper. You'll need about a tablespoon of each to have on hand. We won't use the whole tablespoon, but you want a nice seasoned breakfast pie. 6 large eggs. 3/4 cup of half and half. 1.5 cups of grated cheddar cheese. As you can see here, I've got a white cheddar and a yellow cheddar, I guess we call it, mix. You can use all yellow cheddar, you could use all white cheddar, you could go for a mix, whatever your cheese preferences are, follow them. 1/4 cup of chopped chives. 1.5 to 1 3/4 cup of chopped broccoli florets. You can totally buy the freezer bag, pop it in your microwave, and then just pour it out here. That's what I did, and it worked out pretty well. You might have to chop up, though, some of the bigger pieces before you throw it in your quiche like I did. 9 strips of bacon. That's going to be the delicious top crust. Can't wait for you to see it. And a pie plate. That's all you'll need to make this delicious breakfast pie at home. The first step in making breakfast pie is getting that bottom crust ready. Remember, the top crust is going to be made of bacon, but we want to get the bottom crust ready. You can't just throw raw pie dough into this pan right here, pour in the raw egg whites, throw it in and hope for the best. It just doesn't work that way. You have to pre-bake the crust just a little bit so that everything comes out perfect. If you don't, get a real soggy bottom on the bottom of your pie crust and it's just not good. So, in order to prevent that, we're going to pre-bake our bottom crust a little bit right now. So I'm just going to I'm going to try to remove my refrigerated pie crust. And then I'm just going to roll it out right into my pie plate. You don't have to grease your pie plate at all. You don't really have to do anything to it. No parchment paper. It's really just as simple as unroll, kind of center it the best you can, and then press down. Now, when I think of pie, I always kind of think like those sweet old lady grandma pies with like the cute little pinched crust. So I'm going to go ahead and just pinch my crust together as I go around. You can leave your crust however you want it. If you've got like a special way you like to do it, or you see something pretty in a magazine, go for it. But for me, I'm just going to pinch it a little bit. All right, I went around and I pinched. I'll be honest, doesn't look absolutely perfect, but that's okay. Not everything you cook is going to look gorgeous and perfect. And I could sit here and fiddle with it for another 1.5 hours until I think it looks perfect, or I could just kind of move on with my life and throw it in the oven, which is actually what I'm going to do because it's pretty hot in the kitchen. But first, before you put your pie crust in the oven, you need to take a fork and prick some holes in it so that the pie crust doesn't rise up while you're baking. Then there'll be no room left for the eggs. So just take a standard kitchen fork and poke about halfway down. You don't have to go in any specific order or pattern. Just make sure you get all around your pie crust. There we go. Guess what? This pie crust is ready to go into the oven. So into the oven we go. While our bottom crust is baking in the oven, I'm going to get started on my top crust. I know you might think, well, don't you just put it on top and cook it? But because the bacon is heavier than the egg mixture, it would just sink to the bottom. So I have a standard cookie sheet with some aluminum foil on it and my slices of bacon ready to go. To make this pie crust top, all you have to do is take your pieces of bacon one at a time And I'm going to try to make a little lattice print, which is kind of what you see on a standard like apple pie or other homemade fruit pies. So I'm just gonna lay 3 slices of bacon, about like 2 to 3 finger widths apart on my aluminum foil. Just gonna lay 3 vertically. And now to make the lattice, I'm going to lay 3 horizontally. Lattice has kind of like a weave going to it, but watch how I make making a weave super easy. I'm gonna fold down my 2 outers, take 1 more slice of bacon, lay it like that, and fold them up. Then I'm gonna move my middle one all the way up, take another slice of bacon, lay it horizontally, and fix it like this. It's like making a giant tic-tac-toe board. And now for the last one, I pick up my 2 outers, and I lay another one down there. I know I said you need 9 pieces of bacon. I guess actually you only need 6 to make a lattice. If you want to use all 9, you can just make a tighter lattice. I just think that 6 is going to look perfect on my pie. All you have to do now is pop this into the oven with your top pie crust. And when it comes out and the whole pie's in, we'll lay our crisp bacon crust on top. You'll see when it all comes together. But for now, into the oven we go. Time to make the filling. While our pie crust, both top and bottom, are still baking in the oven, I like to get my filling, my egg mixture together. That way, when my pie crust comes out of the oven, I let it cool, but then I'm still ready to go. Like I don't have to wait for it to cool, then make the egg, then just all ready to go. So let's get started on our egg mixture. The first step is to crack your 6 large eggs into a medium-sized bowl. As always, be real careful not to get any shells in there, but if you do, I won't tell. I've certainly gotten my fair share of shells and things when I first started cracking eggs. Even that one wasn't so pretty, but you can always pick them out, and I'm telling you, it'll be fine. I'm gonna crack 6 eggs. I like to use large eggs when I cook. That's kind of the standard that when you read a cookbook recipe or a recipe like a reputable person online, they're usually talking about large eggs. But for a quiche, the more eggs, the merrier. So if you've got extra large eggs on hand, I think you'll be okay. All right, I got 6 eggs in there. And I actually got a little egg white stuck to my hands now, so I'm just gonna go get my hands with pre-cords. Be right back. Much better. Definitely didn't want to like touch everything with all the egg white and egg yolk and all that garbage in my kitchen. After you've added your eggs, you can really add things in any order you want, but I like to add my half and half, and then my salt and pepper. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper in my quiche. If you don't like things tasting really salty, you can't have that much salt, you hate pepper, feel free to adjust to your preferences. Like actually, now that I'm looking at it, more like 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. And I'm just gonna whisk that together until it all comes into one. It kind of looks like melted ice cream once it's whisked together and like all your yolks are broken up. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. All right, look at that, all whisked together, nice and homogeneously. So next I'm going to add my broccoli. Oh yeah. I really love the way broccoli tastes with cheddar and egg. I don't know. Maybe that's normal, maybe it's not. Then I'm going to add in my chives. I really love chives, so maybe I went a little heavy-handed with the chives. If you don't like them, feel free to cut that in half. And then the best ingredient of all, the cheddar cheese. Oh yeah, this is gonna be cheesy and delicious. So I'm gonna give this a quick whisk. Actually, I might need a wooden spoon for this because everything's getting stuck in the middle of my whisk. Not helpful. Handy dandy wooden spoon right here. And you just want to give this a nice mix so that you see things are incorporated well. I don't want to know what's going on inside my oven. Look at that. That way all the broccoli is not in one spot and all the chives aren't in one spot. This filling is ready to go. But my pie crust is still baking, so I'll check back in with you when I'm ready to pour my filling into my pie crust. All right. Both of my pie crust layers are done and out of the oven. As you can see here, I have my traditional pie dough layer, the bottom and side layer of the breakfast pie. It's slightly cooled, ready to go, ready to receive its delicious filling. And my bacon crust top is cooling over there. Like I said, we don't really add that to the end because it would sink to the bottom. So all we have to do right now is pour our egg mixture into our pie crust. Just a little tip in advance. Maybe you can see it now, but this is a lot of egg mixture and there's a lot of space in my pie plate, but don't just throw everything right in because maybe there's just a smidge less room in here than there is in here. So I'm gonna slowly pour it in until it reaches the top. And if I have any extra, I'm actually just gonna scramble it and make myself some scrambled eggs and it'll be delicious. So if you have a little too much filling, you are not alone. Tap, tap, tap. Now all I have to do is just gently pour right in here. And actually, I don't think I have that much left over. Look at that. You want to get it as close to the top as possible without it totally overflowing over. And I think I actually did a pretty good job of that. And see, look, I just have a little bit left in here. Actually, not even enough to scramble for myself or my fiance. This is not enough for breakfast. So I have this filled to the top. You're gonna want to be very careful putting this in the oven. In fact, I'm actually gonna go grab a cookie sheet and I'm gonna transfer this to on top of a cookie sheet because I just don't want any egg to spill on the bottom of my oven. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to clean. So very gently placing it on a cookie sheet and into the oven we go. Can't wait to show you the finished product of this. Let's go to the oven. All right, here we are back at my kitchen island. Our beautiful breakfast pie has just come fresh out of the oven. You can see the crust around the edges is nice and golden brown. You couldn't ask for a better colored pie crust if you ask me. The eggs are fully cooked. And then what's really important is that just in the center, it's just about done. Like not runny, and if you push it, nothing should ooze out, but it's just set, which is absolutely perfect. Our last and final step is to add our bacon lattice crust. Take a look at this bacon. Oh, it baked beautifully in the oven. And if it's been done right, you should be able to pick it up like this. I wouldn't tempt it and like start doing a dance with it or like running around your kitchen with it. I would just be very gentle. All we have to do is pick it up and transfer it over to the pie. Watch. There you go. Now, of course, it's not an absolute perfect fit, and it's never really going to be, but it still looks fun and unique and like a fun little take on it. What I am going to do is just use a small pair of kitchen scissors and just cut this piece right here because I feel like it was touching the crust too much. So if you just want to like trim it up so that it fits a little bit nicer, you can go right ahead and do that just like I'm doing. Of course, though, then you get little bacon bits and it can be a little bit tricky. But hey, I'm pretty happy with my breakfast pie, and if you chose to make one at home, I hope you are too. I'm Ursi from Ursi's Unique Eats. Thank you so much for baking breakfast pie with me. I'm so excited to just like chomp right in and start eating it, and probably eat it for breakfast again tomorrow because it keeps for about 3 to 5 days if you refrigerate it. Thank you so much again for baking with me. If you make your very own breakfast pie at home, let me know how it went down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a like and check out my channel for a bunch of other Ursi's Unique Eats recipes. Hope to see you soon. Enjoy!